right. Welcome, Noura. How are you?
Hello. It's so good to see you.
So good to see you as well. Thank you for making time to come on the Instant Journey. I know that you are a hot commodity now. You placed third, right,
Yeah. Yep.
on Survivor. And so a little background about you and me. Uh, I met you while doing obstacle course racing, and we met
Yeah.
in I think it was I don't know, West Palm Beach or something like that.
2014. It was like north of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, and it was the superhero scramble, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. Yeah,
That is it. Right.
and I was with Jim and Melissa, and which you know,
Yeah. They're a great
and
couple.
they are, and they and we met, and then we started hanging out, and then we had a
Actually, the
great.
story goes there's a bunch of guys after the finish line, like hosing themselves down because they're covered in mud. And I walk up to you guys and I'm like, is this where the single people hang out? Because a
That's
bunch of
right.
fit people with all their six packs and they're just taking the mud off of themselves and it was
That's right.
awesome.
I forgot about that. I forgot.
Yeah. And then you go, well, I don't think you go. I don't think you'll be single much longer.
Oh, I'm such a wordsmith.
Mm, you are.
So, um, we've had a great relationship the whole time. You are a great friend. I've always looked up to you in a business aspect of thing because you had a thriving CPA business, if I'm not mistaken, and then one thing that I admired about you was that I mean, out of nowhere, it seems like for me, out of nowhere, you've always been healthy and whatnot, but you've all of a sudden said like, I want to make a health bar, and you did, and then you literally like quit everything, sunk everything into it, and it's crazy.
Everything.
It's crazy to me, and you know me, and that I'm not one to take those big risks. I'm like, oh, yeah, you don't have a paycheck, you
Yeah.
don't have that, but I mean,
You're more risk averse, and I'm more
yeah,
like, let's go for it.
you're like, we'll figure it out. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was so interesting to see it, from afar because we haven't really, talked a lot, and every time
yeah.
we do talk, it's like talking to myself, and then 3 days later or 4 days later, I get a response.
I'm a delayed texter, and
You
like I
are.
want to be in the mood, and sometimes like you know what? The people that get me are the ones that continuously write me, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on my cell phone, whether it's my email, because stuff gets buried. And it sounds like when I used to hear that from other people, like, oh, sorry, your text got buried. I'm like, oh, what? Are you so popular?
Right,
But
you're
it
so
literally is
important.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I,
literally
I,
is
I
like that.
I think your sister is more responsive
She is.
text than you are by
She
far.
loves hearing from you. She loves
Yeah,
hearing from you.
yeah. So, and she's another, badass woman where she legit. I mean, she's the CEO of was it Kicks Karate? I think.
Kicks Karate, right.
Yeah.
So they have like 15 karate schools, and her husband is the creator of this business. It's not like a franchise or anything. And she basically created, she helped open up a lot of schools, and they fell in love as she's like this, you know, she's making all this money, she's growing the students, and they worked closely together. Now he had her take the role of CEO because he's like, I'm done with this. I'm exhausted. It's
Yeah,
a lot.
that's so awesome. That's
Yeah.
another story. I'm gonna hopefully have her on one of these days.
Oh, that'd be amazing. She'd
I,
love
I
that.
told I told her, and she's like, oh, I'll see. She kind of
Well,
like,
she's more private.
yeah,
We're the complete opposite. I'm like, blah, I'll tell you everything, and she's kind of more guarded and
yeah, yeah.
private.
But
Yeah,
I'll get her on here. I'll get her on here.
you'll get her.
Uh,
Plus, you know what? She'd be a great example of a woman who didn't give up on her dreams. I mean, she's a marathon runner. She runs this company. She's got two amazing kids, and
yeah,
we have a really strong family. And so she's a lot of commitments, but yet she hasn't like let up on anything.
right.
And I think a lot of times you get married and you have kids and you give up on your dreams and what you want for yourself. And I feel like she's done it all. And I think it's a good example that you can go to another level, especially with the right partner that supports your goals.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I think that's definitely something I'm gonna push to have her on. Don't worry, don't worry.
Okay.
And then you'll she'll see this and she'll be like, oh wow, Jeremy's amazing at interviewing. Let's go ahead and do this.
You are, and you're an excellent listener, and you know how to get things out of people, because it's sometimes someone will come at you and it's like whoa, and
Right.
your defense mechanism goes up. But with you, it's little requests. You have a curiosity, and it gets people to open their
Well,
mouth a
I
little more
appreciate
than they would with someone else, maybe.
I appreciate that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so with Monday Motivation, because we're gonna do two. This is gonna be a 2-for-1. It's either gonna post next
Okay.
week or the following, depends on what's going on. But it's gonna be a 2-for-1. We're gonna do a Monday Motivation, and we're also gonna do a Whatever Wednesday to follow up, because you have so much going on, and I want to get into how you got to where you are, and how, the success that you've had, and then on the Whatever Wednesday, I want to deep dive into kind of your experience on Survivor and your experience with the food bar industry, and whether you're doing your CPA business again and things like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the first question I ask everybody is, how did you get to where you are in your career / life? Like, and it's so unique because you have a very interesting, your career is very interesting, right? You started off, and you can start off by telling us about the classroom sessions that you held. So if you want to take it from there, where you started, doing those little in-room sessions, or I don't even know what they call 'em.
Like, was this? I had a computer software training company where I was in a classroom.
Yes, yes. That was
Yeah,
before the CPA firm, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
actually it was.
yeah.
It was before I did my own consulting, actually. It kind of around the same time I did both, actually. Okay, so I'll say this. I'm learning simplicity. That's not my forte, but the simplest reason I am where I am and I focused on the areas that I focused on is because growing up as a kid, I realized that money is everything in having a family, and it's the biggest point of contention. It's the biggest source of stress. There's a lot of fear around it. There's a lot of scarcity around it, and it's challenging when you are married and you have kids and you have a house. And like, when I look at the American dream and I look at what's required, it's like, okay, two people, they're single, they have a career, they're going to connect, and now they're going to put money into, the guy's going to put money into a ring, then you're going to put money into a wedding, and then you're going to put money into getting a house, and then you're going to have kids, and somehow you're going to both keep working, which doesn't usually happen, and you're going to support this whole life. And what you realize is, these are liabilities that own you. Your house owns you, your expenses own you, and it's like you just want to be happy, you want to have love with your partner, you want to have kids, and you want to live life. You want to live life and have a partner that you can enjoy it with. Like, that's really, I think, what people want. And when you look at, and I've studied this, literally going to, like, I've gone to churches, I'm not a religious person, I've gone to churches and I've read what are the prayers that people are writing, what are the things that people hold dearest to their heart. It's their family,
Yeah.
it's the health of themselves and their family, and it's money related. And then, of course, it's like God and what they believe in, and they're looking for some sort of strength. So you realize, what do people really care about? It's family, but they need to have money and health to maintain it. And so from a young age, I got that understanding that, wow, I'm not going to be successful in a relationship unless I have these foundations, and they are health and finances in order. And my parents thankfully had the health component, I would say, in order, but we're Lebanese. We have the Mediterranean diet. This is a plant-based diet that's
Yep.
healthy, and so I already came from that. So I had really great habits, like down to, we don't drink tap water. We are having salads with everything. Our food is colorful, blah, blah, blah. So I already was very interested by both the food and the health side and the money side. But the money side, I didn't come from money. We came here. I'm just going to go and say this. We came here illegally. I was told we're coming here on vacation. And I'm like, oh, this is exciting. We're going to the U.S. We're going on vacation. And we get here and it's like, we're moving here. But they couldn't tell us that because we're young kids. I'm 10 at the time, with a British accent, talking like this. And
Wow.
I'm told, we're just here for vacation because when you come in, you get interviewed. When you travel in, the whole family's interviewed there, and actually when we had some interviews when we got naturalized, because your parents get, they basically go through immigration, they go through a process, and actually one of the questions was, basically my mother came to work for her brother who had a big bakery business. He was in all the big stores, and she became literally the breadwinner. So we moved from London for her to have this job. Now there's a shift that was not really healthy, I think, for the relationship. Now my mother is here, my father's kind of struggling to find out.
Especially back in the day, it wasn't healthy. Like right now, I mean, it doesn't matter. I think a lot of guys still are very uncomfortable with it. I think that, it plays a little bit in people's minds, but yeah, I could definitely see that back in the day.
It's the early 90s. So yeah, it's not like where we're at now. It's 2020, 2021. So you're right. You're good at steering me back on course. So you're going to have to do that today.
I'll do that. Don't worry.
Okay, good. So basically, one of the interviews, they said, talking to my dad, you're going to be working at the bakery like with Raya, right? And I go, oh no, my daddy's not working at the bakery. He's a journalist. He doesn't know anything about baked goods and the bakery. And then literally, I think the immigration attorney just really liked, the representative that handles immigration is there, with us and our immigration attorney. And he just kind of, like laughed about it. But obviously, like that's incriminating. That's basically saying, yeah, this is not true.
Right.
Anyway, so bottom line is, I think it's important that people understand the roots of, and I think in anything, like if you don't know what your why is, you're not going to have the passion that gets you up in the morning that, there's so many things I've said no to. Like last year, New Year's Eve, I've been dating someone right now and we shared New Year's Eve together. And he asked me, what did you do last New Year's Eve? I'm like, oh, let me tell you what I did last New Year's Eve. I was sitting at home filling orders for my first nutrition bar, Green Dream. This was the prototype for the first bar. And it's like, you do that as an entrepreneur. You have to be willing to say no to, I know we're in COVID, so we don't even know what this is like anymore, but you say no to weddings, you say no to parties, you say no to dates. And people are like, why are you single? And you know what? Oh, I can tell you many reasons why I'm single. And it's like, you're not there. You're not showing up in life where everyone else is. So anyway, to answer your question, I am where I am because health and financial wellness are the core for you to be successful in your relationship and your family. And you need them to really go to a high level in whatever you're trying to achieve, I believe.
And I mean, that's 110%. I agree. And I think one thing that you stated but didn't, come out and say it was hard work. I mean, hard work and dedication. Like that's what you just described when you talked about, doing, orders, filling fulfillment orders, during New Year's. It's hard work and missing those, fun times. You always see memes online and I hate to sound hokey and I hate when, people are just so like, oh, you got to do this and you'll be a millionaire. No, it's just, it's you see it all the time where it says like, when there are, people say, oh, I didn't see you at the club on Friday night. And then, you say, oh, I didn't see you at the bank on Monday morning, so
oh, that's awesome.
So when you describe it, yes, you got to where you're at because of the mentality that you had, or still have when it comes to, a foundation. And then you also just put in the good old fashioned hard work.
So consistently.
Yeah, and
can't
now,
let up.
and now you let's just list your current accomplishments. So you are, I mean, Green Dream is doing very well, right? Or doing well enough.
Yes. So this is the first nutrition bar, Green Dream.
Yep.
Now this is more gold. Um, Basically, there are a million bars on the market. I've tried them all. I continue to try them all. Um, so that product is my first flavor. It's a vanilla flavor, and I just came out now with Nutty Chocoholic, which is a chocolate flavor. It doesn't have nuts. It means more like I'm a nutso
Right.
for chocolate. And those have always sold out. Every year I've sold out of them, and I'm a perfectionist, so I've been selling it at a very like small model, and I want to scale it now, but I needed to make sure, everything from ordering to shipment to production to even the nutrition facts labels. Like we've had changes that have happened in the last year or so, and you have to change everything. And so yeah, so I have two products under SuperFreshies
And I'll
that are
say this:
nutrition bars.
the Vanilla Dream, it's awesome.
The Green
Or
Dream,
Green
that's
Dream,
a
sorry.
vanilla
Yeah,
flavor.
the vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vanilla flavor. It's awesome. I've had it. I think like
Oh,
two or
thank
three
you.
times. Uh,
Thank you.
and Cassidy, a mutual friend, she loved it.
Yeah.
I think you let her have one or a couple. I don't remember, but she
No, she actually just bought
oh she
some. She
bought
saw
some.
me talking about
Yeah,
it on social media, and
yeah.
she just bought a box or
She said
something.
they were delicious. So it was very cool.
Yeah.
But so when you go ahead and you reach that level of success, when it's giving up everything, because let me go back. You gave up your CPA firm. You sold your place in Miami, right?
And I had three other places. I sold all the real estate that I had accumulated in my career. So as a CPA, as I started making money, almost every 2 years, I bought a place in the DC area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, in really nice areas that were up and coming.
Yeah.
And so that's where I put my money in my invest. Like that was one thing I was doing
So
over
you
the
you bought properties.
years.
You did all that, and you were. I mean, all intents and purposes, you were successful. You were making a
Yeah.
good salary, for your company, and you were, you know, building up a nice real estate portfolio, and then
I had 1.5 million in real estate,
oh,
and my income was about 200K, I would say at the time. And that's like I'm like almost 30, so it's pretty
yeah. So
it was pretty good for a single person.
well, that's what drives. You see, if that was me, I would have been like, I'm gonna fucking ride this gravy train until it ends, right? I'm gonna keep going, and then all of a
Okay.
sudden,
Yeah.
you get in their mind like, you know what? I kind of want to make a bar, a nutrition bar, and you're like, yeah, let's do it. You sell everything. You go ahead and
Yeah.
you basically simplify your life to
That's
to a
true.
very 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 extreme. I think.
You're
You
right.
you like nicer things, right? You like to treat yourself. You like
Yeah, I
nicer things.
do.
So I mean, you have the handbags. You have like the clothes, the shoes, like all that.
And I didn't have that stuff. These were all in the later
Right,
years of my life.
right.
Yeah.
So you're getting used
Yeah.
to it, and then all of a sudden you're like,
Mm.
I'm gonna just throw everything into this, green dream. And I mean, again, I can never do that, and that's why I'm impressed that anybody can
Thank
do it,
you.
and especially when you have a good life. Listen, most people that listen to this are going to be like, "Wait, you had 1 point whatever in real estate, and then you also were making 200K a year? Are you fucking nuts? Like, why would you drop that to go ahead?"
I do need to answer
Yeah,
that. Yes.
absolutely. Please do.
So I was living in the DC area. I had my family here. I over the years, like I got into some serious relationships, and when I was in those relationships, which were not the best fit, I still felt like, damn, I have it all. Like my family's here, my partner's here. Like for me, family is everything. And so at times I was like, I've got it all. Like this is awesome. But this is the thing. If you don't have purpose in your life, you have nothing. And if it could even be my purpose is to be the best mom, to be the best partner. Those are purposes. But I really do think and everyone's different, but there's something deep within yourself. And it could be, you know, everyone has their own dreams, but we have dreams that are deep within themselves, deep within us. So I got to the point where I felt like a robot. I was like, okay, I'm going to work. I'm making a living.
Yep.
The real estate's challenging because I own it. I'm renting it out. I'm managing it. Not everyone's always paying. It's my stuff. I'm furnishing the places. It's like, if something's broken, I'm not the typical landlord. Like if something's broken, if there's like a little spore of mold, like I'm on it. And
Right.
so it's a full-time job all around. So I got to the point where I was like, I was in a serious relationship and I felt like I had it all, but I had to give up some things to that relationship. Like I actually shut down 2 companies. One was the QuickBooks training company,
Yep.
where I actually had to give it to someone else I had to hire an instructor. It wasn't me. And every time I've learned, if I take me out of the business, it doesn't do the same way. You try to replicate it and put some other people in there, it's not the same. So I moved out of the area and I couldn't be going to these classrooms where I had locations. I was teaching people QuickBooks in my own methodology I created, and then they would take an exam, and if they did well, I would place those people into jobs. And the people that were taking this course were people from other countries where they don't have the skills that, other people they're competing against have here. So it was a really cool model. I did very well with it. And at some point on that business, I'm not trying to give bragging rights. I'm just trying to give you numbers so you can see what I'm dealing with. At that time, I was making $8K profit, so that's $100K per year. And I had an intern, and I was just teaching, 2 nights a week for 4 hours. Like, who wouldn't want to? It's work, I had to have a website. I had
Right.
to have someone that answers the phones, and, you have to sign people up, and they've got to pay, and, you have to manage people and whatever. But like, that's pretty good. And just doing that is a pretty good living. Anyway, I gave that up in a way because I was in a serious relationship that moved me out of the area. And I was doing all this consulting, but I couldn't go to the consulting. So I gave up the consulting and ended up working like in sales for ADP and doing some consulting. So now I was still making my 100K, but it was freaking painful.
Right.
So anyway, the reason I'm sharing all that is I've had to give up the consistency and the solid foundation because I wanted love, but I also wanted like purpose and meaning. So the thing is, I've given up my career for love, and that didn't do too well because it's the work I do is part of who I am.
Right.
So you're giving up part of yourself for love. That doesn't sound
No.
right. So anyway, I got out of that relationship. I moved home. I was living with my family, and every time I've failed in life, I go to my parents' house, and I'm there for like a week or two, and I'm like trying to figure out
Yeah. It
what's
motivates
next.
you to keep going.
Yeah, because you get all that love, and like you feel like you just need that hug, like everything's okay.
Right.
And my whole life, my family's been very like supportive. Whatever I wanted to do, I want to date this person, I want to move here, whatever. They've always been very supportive. So, the reason I'm going here is, why did I go to Miami? Why did I do this bar company? So I got out of this serious relationship. I applied for Survivor. I was like, you know what? I need to leave my life. I like how you got the palm trees behind you because it's like playing into what I'm talking about. So I was like, you know what? I'm exhausted. I felt like a machine. After I broke up with my boyfriend, I went back to the area. I'm doing my consulting again. I shut down the training business, and I was like trying to simplify my life again. So I'm like, I'm just going to do the consulting. All right, so now I'm making, let's say, 150K. Pretty great. I bought a place for myself in DC. I'm living in Logan Circle before it's like the next DuPont Circle, and I'm happy. But I'm still feeling like something's missing. And I feel like I'm so disconnected from myself, which everyone
Right.
feels, but people are ignoring it. So you're becoming so disconnected from yourself, and you become a freaking machine. You're not even human anymore. You're like, okay, I get up, drink my coffee, I go to the office, I'm in my car, I go to my office, I drink more coffee, I eat shit, processed fast food shit. I go to a restaurant, I sit inside, I drink alcohol, I eat shit, I eat a big steak to fill myself so I feel better about whatever. And I feel like, look, I can buy this steak and this wine, and like, it's like you want to justify your life in some way. You go home, you sit on the couch, you drink something else, and you go to bed. And that's if you're not taking prescription drugs, taking recreational drugs, and doing whatever else you can to like numb what you're feeling.
Right.
And I was like, I can't live like this anymore. So I started going to Miami more frequently, and that was always like my after tax season go-to place. And it was like in the middle of winter, this weather sucks, I'm going to go for a few days and, like revitalize myself. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to move there. And my girlfriend's like, yeah, this place is here for you. It's always going to be here. Just go. And so literally from breaking up from that serious relationship, being at my parents' house, living with my girlfriend in DC, She broke up with her boyfriend. I broke up with my boyfriend. We lived together for like 6 months. And after that, I was like, I got into another serious relationship, and I got actually asked to go on The Bachelor, and I was really trying to give it a go with the guy at the time, and so I said no to The Bachelor after they did nationwide casting. And I was like, okay, I'm going to apply for Survivor because I need to get the fuck out of this world. I want to go back to the basics. I want to just live life. I want to like see the sunrise, see it set, like focus on being around people, like see nature, forget the cell phone, forget the laptop,
Right.
forget money, forget the time, the day, answering to all these people. And I applied. I got to semifinals. I didn't get in. I was like, what the hell? I was like, this is for me. I'm meant to be on that show. And it wasn't about being popular, famous, the money I could make. It was like, I just want to fucking unplug from this world. And that would be the experience to do it. 39 days of being away from this real world that I feel like is killing
Right.
me.
I think that's, I mean, that's ballsy, but that's awesome. That's awesome.
Things. So when I didn't get on that show, I was like, fuck it, I'm moving to my own island. And that's when I was like, I'm going to move to Miami. And I did that. So May of 2013, I moved there. I was doing all my consulting. Again, I was making like now the 150 was pushing more to 200K. And I was like, I told all my clients, you know what? If you want to work with me, we're working remotely. I'm going to remote into your bank accounts. I'm going to remote into your computers, and I'm going to maintain all your financials remotely. And if you want to deal with me, we're going to talk on the phone, and that's how it's going to be. And that's like ahead of its time. Like, they're like, you're going to what? You're going to log into my bank accounts and my computer? Like, this is a different world back
Right.
then. This is 2013. So I knew I was going to get my way because they wanted me, and I said, this is how it's going to be. And Miami became my scapegoat because now I'm not stuck at their offices when they want me until when they want me. And I was eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner at my desk at these clients' offices, and I felt like they own me.
Yeah.
And you don't feel grateful because you're making all this money, but you feel like I'm not dating, I'm not having a proper meal and relaxing, I'm not socializing, I'm just a machine to make money. And the whole point of having the money is
Enjoy
to,
it.
again,
Yeah.
yeah, and have a loved one, have a family, and have your health. And you know what? You're not healthy. This is the American nightmare. People are not taking care of themselves to make their income. And again, the whole point is you want to have a happy family and be healthy. And now your relationship's suffering because you're not giving your relationship the time and love it needs.
Yep.
And you're suffering because like you gain weight, you're stressed, you're just, yeah. So anyway, that's why I moved to Miami. I was doing the consulting, and then I just had this like, fuck this moment. And that's when I just destroyed everything. I sold all those properties. I told each of my clients one by one, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do your work anymore. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to live off of my income for 2 years. I had enough money in the bank. I sold my retirement. I had like 100K there. I was making that 200K. I had hired a staff, and I was like, she's going to do all the work. The work's not the same. I started losing some clients because she made some errors. And now my income's going down, down, down. I'm like, you take it all. I fucking don't need it. Because I started doing the math. I'm like, what I'm making minus what I'm paying her and the time it takes me to review her shit, and it's still not
Right.
me. I'm like, it's not worth it. So that's when I started going psycho. And my family's like, my mom's like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, you know? And I was like, I just felt like I'm done with this. And so that's what happened. And so I started working on my own health. That was the whole point of moving to Miami. I started, I went gluten-free, and then I took out dairy, and then I took out meat, and then I started to become vegan, and then I started doing intermittent fasting and low carb, keto. Like, I did all this before this is all these crazes. And I just went down the rabbit hole on like, how do you get like super lean, healthy, feel clear, feel happy. And it's like everything. The program I created is Lean Out Now. I created that program for myself, basically. And I was creating the bars. And then I helped my best friend go from like gorgeous and to like, whoa, runway model. And that is where Lean Out Now was born. Everyone's like, how did you do that? And she's just like, Noura. And that's how I got into health coaching, because I helped her. They saw my transformation. They saw her transformation. And that became my life. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to do health coaching and the bars.
And
So that's how I
and is
got
that is
here.
that is that what you're doing currently now? You're not doing anything else?
So, things take longer than you think. And I have quotes all around my place. I should like unplug my laptop and take you around. But like one of the messages I have is one day at a
Yeah.
time. Like it doesn't happen overnight. And like I have another one that's like great things take time. The best things take a lot of time. So I ran out of time. I ran out of money. So I literally went from making that income to now you're not making an income and you're just in an investment
Right.
mode, and the income generation hasn't happened yet. And the lean out now is great, and I'm making like 2K per client, but it's not like that's still not keeping up with as fast as I'm spending the money and
Yeah.
investing it. So I started running out of money, and I started racking up credit card debt, which I'd never done in my life. So I'm going to tell you, like
I've
I
been
went
there
into
before.
90.
Oh,
You?
credit card debt? I've been in credit card debt before I moved to Miami. When I was in New York City, I moved to Miami. I was like 35K in debt. Uh,
I didn't know this
yep.
about
I got
you.
out of debt, then ran
Yeah.
up the debt again to about 65. I got out of debt, and then
65.
oh yeah,
On what? Like
but
you had
fucking
nice
races.
clothes.
I don't
Races.
know if you know this, but
Your
I went to
camera
I
went
did I
away.
won.
Your camera went away for a second,
Am I here?
Jeremy. Your video's
No,
gone.
that's on your side. I see
I
both
don't
of us.
see your video on my
Hold on.
computer.
Nope, cancel.
It's weird.
Is it back yet?
I can hear you.
Hold on. Let me just better.
Like, do you see my
I
square?
see
When
you.
I
I
look at
see you
your
and me.
square, it's
I see
gray.
you and me.
Oh, weird. I don't. Should I not worry
It's
about it?
probably on. It's probably on your side. Something. But we're both recording, so we should be fine.
Okay, fine. I just don't see your face. Like, it's weird to not talk to you,
Um.
not see your face. Like right now, it's showing a gray screen with like an outline of a man's body.
Oh.
Should I click on your
Click
video
on.
thing? That doesn't do
When you click
anything.
the plus, does it do anything?
It's just like you're not there.
Weird.
Should I refresh the browser? Oh, there
Okay.
you're there
All
now.
right.
You're there
Cool.
now. That was
No
weird.
problem.
Sorry. Okay. All right. So how did you get 65K? You said your races.
Yeah, it was like races. It was just like frivolous spending. It was, it was just the typical like buying
Yeah.
things that you know, you don't need.
Wow. I did not know this
Yeah,
about you.
but
Because I feel like you're very you before you buy something, like you're choosy. Like, do I need this or
yeah,
not? And like
for major purchases, but it's all the little shit that gets you. It's the one that
add it
bites you.
up. Wow.
So yeah, it was, but now it's debt free. I'm debt free and things like that. So it's
Thanks for sharing,
yeah,
because you don't have to share
yeah.
that.
No, listen, it's definitely, and I'll tell you this: there's no worse feeling than being in debt and being like, I don't know how I'm gonna fucking do this, and then every month,
Yeah, like just how am I gonna get
yeah,
out of this?
every month you're just
So I'm
thinking
glad we're
about it.
talking about
Yeah,
this.
yeah. So
Um, so that's what happened. I racked up, and I also filmed a course called Save Your Financial
yep,
Ask, which is honestly incredible, and I've never sold it. Like, what the hell? I got it filmed. I spent like 25K to video it, cut it up. I made all these outlines, and literally that material is like what I use in my consulting because I'm an outsourced controller. That's what I use. And then I'm a tax practitioner. I prefer doing business returns more, but I do prepare tax returns. And, these are the principles that we use. And, I use this knowledge with my clients. Like I make my living off of these principles.
right,
So anyway, I've spent all this money to invest in, and by the way, I had to invest money. I got into 80K in debt because I actually had to put in 15K into each rental property to improve them so they could sell, because I bought them and they're in a great location. However, those locations now have competing inventory that didn't exist before
right,
because I went into an area that wasn't really desirable and at the time didn't have competition. So now when the new builds come in, no, people don't want your old shit
yep,
anymore. So I put in 15K on each of the 3 properties in the DC area. So that's
45.
45K right there. Then I went into like, let's say 10K of debt because I had to pay for my staff at times when cash was short and the consulting wasn't really paying itself as well. And then I went into like my lifestyle, like you're paying, I'm paying my mortgage, I'm paying my lifestyle. And in Miami, it's expensive. It's like your gym membership, your da-da-da membership.
Yep.
Like it was a
Yep.
lot. And it helped me get a lot of connections and, build the network I got and also get the kind of health coaching clients that I got. But it was expensive. So anyway, it racks up to like 90K. And so I'm like, it's continuing, and my family is great, and they're like, so where are you at now? Like, is this making revenue yet? They're seeing without seeing the numbers, because I reconcile all my numbers, and I've had my numbers since I was 21 years old in one QuickBooks file, and I'm just like, I can't, like, you just keep hoping you're going to turn that corner, and now you're going to sell a bunch of bars, and you're going to do, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do a retreat. Actually, I started doing retreats, health coaching retreats, where people are paying now $3K per person for a weekend. But the thing is, everything takes time. You have to fine tune a model. You can't just like blow up overnight. And these videos, you're right, Jeremy, say, hey, overnight you can make 6 figures, and it's bullshit. It's not fair to mislead people like that. Anyway, so I bled the money, and my family's like, you should just come home. Come home for a year, and you can just get back on your feet. Yeah. And I sold the property in Miami. I moved home, and here I am. This is 3.5 years later. I was living with my family. Now I'm in my own place. Basically in the spring of 2020, I had to move out in COVID because my parents were like, look, like my stepdad's high risk. They're like, you can't live here anymore, basically, which was hard to even hear that from them. I moved into a place for 6 months in the area, and literally I thought I was going to move back to Miami. I was like that was the only thing keeping me alive in this time where I'm like, I've given up my friends, my social life, my life. I'm getting out of debt. I went back to the consulting because it was the only thing that I could, like in a day I could make $1,000 if I worked a good solid day. So I was like, that's what I had to do out of necessity. But I told myself, it's okay, I'm going to get out of debt. I'm going to move back to Miami and go back to my dream. And it's what kept me like going.
Motivated to keep moving forward. Yeah. So you're back in the consulting, and then, but the bars are doing well. They're picking up, I should say. The health coaching is picking up. I would assume, and I could be wrong, but I would assume that being on Survivor probably boosted up a little bit for you.
It has boosted up the social media following. It has boosted up how many people message me, call me, text me, email me. And it's definitely, I already had sponsors. I already had a brand. I already had a name for myself. Like I already had a following of, I think, like 20,000 followers before I got on Survivor. And now I'm at like 40 something. So it's funny, like you've got young people on Survivor and you've got like adults. And so the adult group isn't as big on social media, I would say. But if I was like on The Bachelor, let's say, I'd probably have like 500,000 followers right now, because it's just a different market of people that are going to go on social media and follow you. I feel like I have a lot of love. I feel like I have a lot of cheerleaders from Survivor. It's a little weird because like I go in public and people recognize me, and sometimes it's just my laugh. I'm like, how did you see me? Like I'm in a hat with a hoodie, and it's raining, and I'm wearing a mask. And they're like, Noura? And I'm like, how do you see me under here? They're like, I heard your voice. You were on the phone just now. I was like, wow. So sometimes it's weird because like people know who you are, and then like they're kind of looking at you like a zoo animal, and I am kind of a zoo animal. But so that's kind of changed my life in that way. And people are like, we want you to go back on Survivor. And like Survivor gave me some money. Like I was the last female. I'm 3rd place. I could have won that season. I really could have. And it's on me that I didn't. And I let people get the best of me, and I let a lot of stuff get the best of me. Like in the moment when it's like you need to deliver. It's like Eminem in that song where he's like,
one shot.
You know what? Are you going to like, one shot. Are you going to deliver it, or are you just going to let it slip? And that's what I did. I let it slip in that moment because people were jealous. It's a jury of 10 people, 7 women, 3 men. Who's coming at me hard? The frickin' women that should be uplifting me and rooting for me no, they're jealous. They don't think I deserve it. And they're coming at me like, why are you there at the end? Like, I couldn't verbalize what I did because I was an entrepreneur. I don't tell people, I did this today, I did that today. This is my
Right.
approach.
You're not
This is
used to
my
that. If you were
strategy.
a worker bee, you would be used to that because your manager would be like, "What did you do today?" Justify what you did today, and you don't.
I'm not
Yeah.
used to that. I don't have people holding me accountable. And with the clients, I'm like, they don't even give a shit
Right.
how I got there. They're just like, whoa, she got me this much money. She got me this much in savings. I have this done. I met this deadline. Like, I produce, I get the results. And I did that on Survivor. I got to the end. No one had more. We can talk about that another time, I think. But, I don't know where I'm going. You need to take me back, Jeremy. Where do we go now?
So no, that's fine. We'll break there for the. We're only on question 3. Uh,
I was wondering, I was like, aren't there
but
5
but
questions
this
of
one's very
Motivation
easy.
Monday?
What time of the day do you wake up daily? All right. So are you an early morning riser? Are you a late riser? And is it a 7 day a week thing? Is it just a weekday, a work week thing? What time do you typically wake up? And the reason I ask this question, and I say this a lot, is because I want to see if there's a correlation to people that are successful and waking up early, or people that are successful and they wake up late, or is it just a mix and it just depends on the person? That's really why I ask this question. So it's don't you don't have to put too much thought into it. Just what time of the day do you wake up?
It's a loaded question for me. I wake up at all hours. And the problem with being an entrepreneur is, again, it's like there's nothing static. And I've learned to be more like go with the flow thing. So it's like I might have a full day and then you want to see that guy. Or I want to go to my mom's house and have dinner. And then I got to come back and then I get creative. And like I just moved into this place and I've been renovating it. And then I'm like, I go into like this corner where I'm going to like fix this thing and do like, I am just very present. And whatever I have in front of me, I just dive into it. So I will say this. When I created the bars and I was really developing it, getting the branding, the labeling, and all that, there was a period of my life where I went to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I was waking up at 4:30 because it was like the only time I had where like the world is dead
Right.
asleep, and there's a difference between 4:30 a.m. when you wake up and it's early versus I'm going to stay up from 11 until 2 or 3 in the morning. Now, some of my best work has been like I have had some great work where I did some videos and I was up late and I did some Survivor application videos like that, and I thought they were really good content. But in general, like you have to do what's sustainable. So is 4:30 a.m. every day sustainable? If it's not going to be sustainable for you, and it's not, because eventually you don't want to be alone. Like I was in a cocoon; it was just me that existed, so I could do the 4:30 thing. And now my stepdad's like, Nora, why don't you just sleep by 10 and wake up at 6? And I'm like, oh, like what a novel idea, you know? And so that's what I do now is, I had one day this week where I woke up at 6 a.m. and I felt amazing and I went to bed at 10. The thing is, the trick is you have to be willing to give up something to have the thing that you want. So if I'm going to go to bed at 10, I might just have a liquid dinner. I might just make a shake or eat a bar and go to bed. And someone might say, well, I want to watch my TV and have my dinner. It's like, no. Like, so the thing is, it's not, when you're looking for a correlation with the wake up time or whatever, the thing that they have in common is actually consistency. They're doing something over
Yeah.
and over again that's replicatable, and then you're going to get a compound effect. If I have a killer day where I wake up at 6 a.m. and I do all this and I go to bed late, but then like the rest of the week I don't do shit, that doesn't matter. So the answer I would say is I know I work backwards. I need 8 hours of sleep. I need to put in a certain amount of consulting. I need time with my family. I need time alone where I just do me. And I basically prioritize those areas. And I will say the most efficient and effective way to do it is actually to kind of do it with the world than to go against the world. Because when you go against the world, which I've done for so long, it's like you work on holidays, you're up when people are sleeping, you're socializing when they're not. Like I'm doing my clothes shopping and my vacationing like when they're at work, and it's like I was living this like opposing
Right.
lifestyle, but you can't
Right.
coexist. So now I'm learning to coexist with creating space for myself. And the best way to do that, honestly, is in the earlier hours of the day. Even if you have 3 solid hours before the world is awake and on your tail. And a lot of things I do, I turn off my Wi-Fi when I go to
Really?
bed. It's off when I wake up in the morning. I keep my phone in airplane mode when I go to bed at night. There's certain things where I'm like, goodbye, people. And so I can now coexist with the world, but I create boundaries. So like my sister will call me at 8:30 a.m. She wants to talk, decline, and my phone is off. Like I have it on no ringer. You know, I don't care who it is. I don't care if who it is. You used to say the term, I don't care if it's the president of the
Right.
United States of America, and now that has another meaning. But I don't care who it is. I'm not talking to you. I don't care if you're my mother. So I have created boundaries now where I get in my zone and I focus. And so to answer your question, I think the best is to, oh, and I do say this in my health coaching, the hours of sleep before midnight are worth double. So you're better off sleeping 9 p.m. and waking up at 3 in the morning, getting 6 hours at that period of time than to sleep from midnight to 6, because you're getting a deeper REM sleep, a more restorative sleep. So I'm a big believer, like, if you want to make your life easier, follow the path of least resistance, and that is going to be going to bed early, waking up
Awesome.
early.
Awesome.
Follow your children. I think that they have it right. And when they're going to bed, we shouldn't be like, okay, kids are in bed, now we can eat and watch TV and blah, blah. Then they wake you up in the morning, and it's a fucking rude
Yeah.
awakening. We should follow the
That's
kids.
a really good way of looking at it, because kids get tired, you know. But yeah, yeah, I like that. I think the path of least resistance. I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
So
it is.
I mean, I think I know the answer to this. Yeah.
Question number
No, this is
5 now?
four.
This is
This
the
is
last
four.
one?
How do you relieve
Okay.
stress? If I'm not mistaken, you meditate a little bit. You work out.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
imagine that you are
Yoga.
a stress eater. Because like you're really, I mean,
Huh. I'm,
you said you're vegan. I mean, you're a health nut when that. So
yeah.
I can't imagine that when you're stressed, you're like, man, I really need like a, a pepper. I don't know. I don't know.
um, So I really rely on the natural aspects of life. I've never done a drug in my life. I've never drank in more than half a beer. I've actually never been drunk. I've never touched a cigarette to my lips. So for me, when most people reach to this is not coffee, by the way, this is
Yeah.
green tea. It's like when people reach for coffee, Xanax, weed, it messes with your brain. There's a ramification for all those things you're doing. So I look to the natural parts of life, and one thing is just like a
Yeah.
deep breath. Like it's amazing what that can do. So mine are I sleep, I get a massage once a week, and even as broke as I was, I found a way to do it once a month. I was like, I don't freaking care how I'm going to do it. I found a way to get a massage once a month. So I do a deep tissue massage, 90 minutes, and actually that's when I'm actually in a creative space. I'm looking at my life from an aerial view. Where am I going? What am I creating? Like it is actually meditative for me. I do yoga a few days a week. Um, I think it's really sleep and the massage are like the two consistent things. And it sounds silly, but like a long hot shower is like I decompress and I think about things and that kind of thing. I have a sauna that
That's
I
awesome.
invested in. I actually bought it with money I made on the upside during COVID. I bought a stock that was really down that shouldn't be down. Bought it, sold it 6 weeks later, and I made $7,000
Damn.
on it. So the thing is, I'm resourceful. I'm not. It's not like this. I have this incredible something that gives me all that I need. It's
Right.
like no, I'm resourceful.
Yeah.
I find a way. So anyway, that is a way where like I love it. It's like a shower. You're encapsulated. There's nothing there. There's no one. Cell phone can't reach you. Like I try to do these things where I'm like off the grid. So whether you're sleeping, you're in massage, you're in the shower, you're in the sauna. I try to like do these deprivation chambers where
Yeah.
no one can reach
And that's
me.
actually it's funny. So I love saunas, steam rooms. I think that
That's
if
awesome.
you like if you do that, it kind of just like, I don't know, it does something for my mind. So when you say that, you enjoy
Yeah.
that, and all those things that kind of are alone, I think that really does it for me. Like, there's nothing better than going into, the gym and the sauna's empty and you're just sitting in there with yourself for, 20 minutes, and you're there with your own thoughts. You're there breathing, you're there doing whatever. So I
Yeah.
love that. And
Yeah.
yes.
And you're present. Like you're just
Yep.
in that present
No
moment.
matter, I mean, you're in that present moment, and you could be with your thoughts, or you could be focusing on your breath, or whatever. So I love that.
Yeah.
All right, last one, and then it's, yeah.
One real thing, one quick question, or share. The stress eating. I'm the kind of person, if I feel like under stress, I don't want to eat because I feel like I want my full energy and attention on, like, whether it's the person I'm with and I'm dating or something, or I'm
Yeah.
giving a talk, like we're talking right now. Um, like I'm at a client and we're focused on something. Like I just like can't. Like I am a slow eater. You
Yeah.
know this. You hate this about me. I take my sweet ass time because I'm also talking a lot, but I'm chewing my food thoroughly. I'm enjoying every morsel. So sometimes what happens is because I don't eat for so long, then when I finally do, I might kind of
Okay.
overdo it, right? Or if I'm up too late, you get hungry again because your body's like,
Right.
okay, we're still going. So the thing is, like, what am I gonna do? I overeat macadamia nuts and Brazil nuts. I might eat right before bed, but like my bar, like I'm out of my bars right now. I'm gonna get a stock of them this week. That's my go-to. Like I eat my bar and I'm good. But like before that existed, I will say like stress eating doesn't really happen, but I tend to like I'm extreme. I won't eat and then I might overeat. But in general, I do like to go like fasted. And now I've learned to kind of like when you're not stressed, you don't stress
Right.
eat. You don't like like eat through it. But if you can like take a breath and like chill for a second and then eat, you're gonna be a different person showing up, and you're gonna eat completely differently if you can do some sort of like reset before
Yeah.
you have your
Yeah.
meal.
I don't
Is what I
disagree.
would.
And then the last
Yeah.
question, and then we'll end there.
We made it, Jen! You're such a patient
We
man.
still have a whatever Wednesday to record. Um, yeah,
I
we'll
think
do
we're
that
gonna do
next
that
week.
next week because
Yeah,
I
and
think
we'll
that's
we'll
probably
be
the way to
wearing
go. Yeah.
obviously different attire, so that works. So it doesn't look so, yeah. So it doesn't
Oh, that's
look
more
like
fun. Okay. We matched
gray.
today, by the way. We're both gray.
So the question. This is a fun question. The question I like to ask is, if there was a billboard of you in Times Square, what would it say on it? So it's of you. It's a picture of you. It could be you doing yoga. It could be you, teaching one of your lean out
Yeah.
classes. It could be you doing whatever you want. But it's got to be a picture of you. What would it say on it?
Honestly, like it's so like I am a Nike person and I really resonate with the simple message of just do it. And that's like what I am. I think I embody that. It's like I would probably be in my survivor underwear. Literally it's underwear, it's not a bikini. And I would just like be in my like you would see my whole body. I'd be basically naked. And I would probably have like all the things I've done, like my nutrition bars, like the survivor experience, like I want to be married with kids, and it's like I would hope this would be it would show everything. Because like right now people look at me like single Nora. Oh, it's so easy for you. You
Right.
don't have any responsibilities. Like I get that a lot. You know what? Your businesses are the crying babies that like keep you up at night also. But I feel like I would want to show like look, like follow your dreams, follow what's in your heart because it's gonna make you create value in the world. If you create value in the world, you make money. If you create a song people love for decades, you make money. You could create a Hanukkah song, a Thanksgiving song.
Right.
I've never heard of a Thanksgiving song. If you create a really good, catchy Thanksgiving song, you'll be a freaking millionaire. Because if you can give something that people love and they constantly love it and come to it, like you're going to make money. So you got to do something that you really care about and has your heart in it. And when you put your heart in something, it creates value. And it could be, look, I've made a lot of money just serving not even like a 1% of the population in
Right.
where I live. Like it could be magnified so much bigger, right? So if I had an image of me in Times Square, it would literally have me and my romantic partner, my kids. It would show that I'm healthy and lean and I'm happy, I'm full of life, I'm full of energy. I've got my bars, I've got my Lean Out Now business, I was on Survivor. Like, I would just show all my passions. It'd show my direct family. It would just show, like, you can have it all. Maybe that's more my message.
You can
Like,
have it all.
I do believe
I
you can
like
have it
that.
all. And I
I
think
like that.
that's
There you
it.
go.
You can have it all. We did it.
That's gonna be
That's
your
it.
message. You can have it all. I like that. That's really good.
Yeah. I've
That's
always believed in that. And it takes time. It takes time. And sometimes we're like, we want all those things at the same time. And it's like, well, maybe you need to really focus on the career for a while. And then maybe like, maybe you're at a stage like, and that might be you, Jeremy. Like, you did focus on your career for a while and like do some self discovery and, you know, go to Miami and do these races and like see what you're made of. And then like, now you've had a
Right.
real focus on family and your wife. And like, there's different, you know, focuses, but then what's going to happen at the end of it? Career, family, dot, 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 dot. And look, this thing you're creating, like, this is going to be something. This is already something. So, and it's a passion of yours. You've always, like, as I've known you, you've always, whether mostly we love to text and I like to voice note,
You're
but
the
then
only
you'll just
one.
text me
I was going to
back.
mention that you're the only one, and we'll talk about that on a whatever Wednesday that uses that stupid feature. But I like it.
You know what? Do you
Really?
know how people use it now? Do you know how people use it? I created a thing. Literally, ask every survivor, like the Survivor players I'm really close with, and the friends in my life. They'll be like, Noura got me
So
into voice
funny.
notes.
Oh, we'll talk
Like,
about that on whatever Wednesday.
you know
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
important. Yeah, fine. You know you're special to me if you
yeah.
get voice
No,
notes.
I like it. I mean, it's fun. It's funny because I'll look at my phone and I'll be like, oh, now I got to listen to this. I couldn't just read it. But it's no, I do like it. I have a couple stories to share about voice texts later on about like airplanes and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I'll share that with you on whatever Wednesday.
I'd like to hear
Go
it.
ahead.
But what I was saying is your communication by text, it's like it's always been inquisitive and you've always asked a lot of questions and you know even about my career and what I'm doing and that's why this forum is perfect for you because you've always been like that with your close friends too, like the ones you've admired and been interested in. So like this is an extension of you and how you are, and this is another example of okay, like you can't have it all. Like this is a
Yeah.
passion of yours that you're turning into something. So yeah, everyone can have it all, and it just takes time and it takes patience. And like you know what, you can fail so many times. Like you actually, when you create something great, you fail many times because you refine. You
Right.
fail to refine. That's what you have to go through, and most people don't feel comfortable with that. Like an example, I'm dating this guy, and he's vegan, I'm vegan. And look, we cheat. Vegans don't talk about it, but like sometimes you might have something with some cheese on it, or sometimes like I wanted chicken yesterday. I don't deprive
Yeah.
myself, but in general, I'm vegan. And there are these one-offs where I have something because my body
Right.
wants something in that food. Fine. So we're making a pizza, and I doubled the recipe. Oh, maybe they're right. Maybe this is my computer. Like my
Okay.
video froze for a second,
Yeah, I can
but
see you.
like you can still see me. It's so weird. Like I'm moving and everything. All right. Well, I can't see my face. It's like frozen. But anyway, I'll just say because it's moving. I made this recipe. I followed a recipe and I was making it my own, which is how I've created a lot of my products. I took the recipe, I Norized it, and because he was like distracting me and like kissing on me and whatever, like I doubled the flour portion. So now we're putting it in the blender and he's like, it's not possible that this is going to blend. It's not going to work. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, he's like, something's not right here. And I was like, so basically I was like, okay, we're going to have to double this. We're going to have to fix this. We're going to have to, so basically we had to do all these iterations. And then we got to like the best dough we've both ever tried. But the thing is, originally I was like, well, I guess we can just throw it out and start over. And that's what people want to
Just
do. And it's harder. Let me tell you, it's harder to throw
yep.
out the batch that sucks and start over. The energy of stopping and starting is way more exhausting, and it will put you out of business eventually. It will put you out of trying at all versus what you got, like what you said, be resourceful. Like figure out a way to make
Yeah.
it work with what you've got.
I love
So
it.
I
I
want
love it.
to.
I think that you nailed it on the head. There's so many times that people will go ahead and say, "Oh, this didn't work. Scrap it," and then we'll try new. We'll try from scratch again. No, take what you did and start modifying it, start adding things, start subtracting things. I mean, with ingredients, you really can't subtract, but you get the point.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you
You can mute. You can
right,
turn
right.
down the volume
So
on things.
I love it. Again, I want to say thank you for taking the time. I know that you are a busy person. Uh, we're gonna do this again for whatever Wednesday, and you won't be Monday motivation will be
Yeah.
not this coming week. It'll be the following week. Then I could do your Monday
Okay.
motivation and whatever Wednesday together. So I can post them on the same week is what I'm
Got
saying.
it.
So it'll be like Nora week. It'll be Nora week.
Got it. It's like Shark Week, but better.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And
Thanks for
we'll
having
plug all
me.
your Instagram handles and social media stuff in the posts. And
Thank you. And you can go to NoraKnowsBest.com. It
boom,
has
Nora
everything that
knows
I
best.
do there. I'm more into Instagram. I do post on Facebook. Twitter, people, you know what? I know where Angry Birds came from now. It came from Twitter because
Yeah,
it's not a
yeah,
very
that's for
positive
sure.
place.
That is for sure. Twitter's
I
a
didn't
whole
realize
other
that.
animal.
So I'm
So
more into
yeah, but
Instagram. And I'm going to start doing more YouTube. And I'm
I
gonna put
this will be on my
too.
YouTube channel for sure. So thank you so much, and we'll end it there.